Sad people may be depressed. Grief may lead to depression. The problem is that we want to pigeonhole people dealing with grief, sadness, or depression. Give them a talking to. Tell them to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. It doesn't work that way. Sadness, this is temporary. Sometimes it's fleeting. Other times it's full-fledged grief. Sadness will at one point lessen as will grief. There may still be a hole in your heart, but you come out of it. Grief. This is another area where we start to make remarks that shouldn't be made. Grief has its own timeline. It's not the same for each of us. It may last a few months. It may last a few years. It's a personal thing, and insensitive comments only make matters worse. Depression. There is more than one type of depression. Sadness can turn into depression, as can grief. There are also chemical imbalances in the brain that trigger depression. In any event, it is a medical problem, not a social one. Those with depression need medical help. When to see the doc? There are many indications that could tell if this has become a medical problem. Changes in behavior, shunning favorite activities, and withdrawal are some good indications. So are thoughts of self-harm, such as suicide. What can they do? There are several steps that might be taken. Medications can help deal with the chemical imbalance. Counseling can help work through grief and other negative emotions, contributing to the problem. Support groups may be beneficial. Even though a depressed person may feel alone in a crowded room, knowing that there are others who are dealing with the same issue can provide emotional support. For those who haven't dealt with depression or grief, here is a word of advice. Commentary is not always helpful. Being there for the person is. Don't assume that this problem is a personal weakness. It could happen to anyone.